January 22, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using the NinjaTrader 8 platform. Here's how the charts look like today. There was no economic data today to really move the markets. And overall, prices kind of seem to be range bound, kind of in this gigantic range if you took from the top here to the bottom. But I kind of found these, I guess, sub ranges to work with and trade. And there was only maybe one big move up, actually multiple, I guess 3 legs up here, and then a bunch of little choppy legs down. I took a total of 5 trades today, and I was profitable on all 5. However, in hindsight, I think 2 of the trades were probably riskier than I should have taken, and I should have just left them alone. I'll go through the trades right now. So in the pre-market, it kind of spiked up, sold off, chopped around. It's staying above the EMA, and almost at the beginning of the open, it went right back down below the EMA. So here, I'm not thinking it's going to be really going to be in a range. It looks like it has this kind of bullish bias. I also noticed that I tried to fit this red channel here preliminarily because I said, okay, touches once, touches twice, and I wanted this to touch. So it looked like it was in some kind of bigger red up channel. And then in between, there was a smaller green channel. So on the open, prices started to move. It's a little choppy here. Vector gave a new low here, first entry short, and that's all you have. Moves up, and it fits rather nicely this red channel now because it confirmed once, twice, and whether you took this one as the first touch or not, maybe 3 times, but it for sure touched 3 times at the bottom. That's what I like. I also thought it was kind of moving up on this channel here, but then it broke out. So I kind of drew this channel thinking it might have been consolidation, and this is where the move actually occurred. Prices sold off, did 1 bounce, was first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but I didn't like the signal bar because it broke 1 tick below and flashed back up. So you have a second entry long here, but this isn't a very good signal bar, and it's already pressing towards the top. Ideally, if this was a green or more bullish signal bar, then I might have considered taking this trade, and it wasn't so close to the top already. Prices then sold off, moves down, starts moving up this yellow channel. It breaks out of this resistance area because I saw a triple test here, but I didn't really see a setup. Comes up, and even though it didn't quite touch this red channel, I did count it as a touch. So it just kind of reinforces that this red up channel is kind of in play. Moves around, chops some more. I'm just kind of sitting here watching, waiting. So this is the first break of the red channel. And my expectation right now is, even though this is a bullish up channel, it's rather weak, but it did show and display, some strong pushes up. So I'm thinking more likely than not, it wants to push right back up into this red channel. Now, this is the highs and the lows of the pre-market highs and pre-market lows. I wasn't too concerned, or I wasn't really thinking too much that it's going to pull back into this gray range to, follow the pre-market high and low range, just because it didn't really respect the range all that well. There's so much empty space down here, and it's following the red channel more closely. But I wasn't ready to take a long yet because I need a little bit better setup. It kind of flashes, so it does confirm and move right back into the red channel. So it's like a failed breakout. The first entry short, pull back. Here, pushes down and creates a second entry short. And I'm getting ready to take a trade, mainly because I believe the strength of this lower trend line is going to be enough to push prices back up and maybe to the other side. So this isn't the best signal bar. And then here, when it bounced off the red channel, but I saw this and it kind of pushed back down and closed here. When this opened, it opened pretty much right at the EMA, and it was kind of chopping around. And I did like that it bounced off the red channel here, even on the signal bar here, as well as bouncing off the EMA. So it looked like there's like 2 things supporting it. I didn't have this blue line yet, but I did see there's 2 things supporting it. There's enough room before it hit the localized high. So I went ahead and I saw this as a strong push. I entered on an engulfing before it closed, and I was able to get a quick scalp. It looks like there was maybe 2 points to take, but it felt a little bit risky, so I only went for 1 point. Prices came back down, and now it looks like it's kind of hitting some kind of support. Some kind of support here is being respected, and it flashes through. It broke out of this green channel, made a new low, so now I'm thinking prices might move right back up again. flashes down. So technically you have a new high here. First entry long, pull back. You have a second entry long here, but nothing here is telling me to go long or prepare to go long. It's too far from the EMA. Drops around, and falls into what I think is a range here. So I saw this as breaking out of this green channel, made one attempt up, trying to push for the new low, and then made a second attempt. So I saw this as a visual first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Also, it is a very deliberate, true first entry short, second entry short. But this signal bar for the second entry short really wasn't the best, but it is the first break after the green down channel. It made two attempts to go down. So first attempt, and I thought this could have been the second attempt. So I jumped in, but I jumped in one tick below here on, again, this engulfing bar, and it's a strong push down, and I was able to get out on the same candle. But in hindsight, I think this is a riskier trade because to go second entry short, this is your signal bar. And even though there is some kind of resistance here, it isn't technically a triple, well, depending on how you count it and how you're playing it, it could be a triple test. Could it be one attempt up, pullback, second attempt up? This is a small little pullback, and then maybe a third attempt and failure. So even though I actually had this range a little bit higher, I look back and I think this might have been a little bit riskier trade because I also took it on the engulfing before this closed. But definitely when it closed like this, I think I wouldn't have taken this trade because to enter way up here would have been safe. But after the close, to ensure you get entry and continue to move down, then you might take it one tick below, but it felt like there's too close to the bottom now. Here, it looked like if you did do it, it would have survived. But again, in real time, I didn't think that through. And I drew this as a potential trend line coming down. I didn't quite have it as a purple channel just yet. But what I did see was this is a true triple test now because it tried once to push up, failed. Second time to push up, you could either count it here, or even here. But I saw at least 1, 2, 3 attempts, and then there's a push back down. So I tried to enter here, one tick below this guy. So I had my order here as a stop order, and it actually flashed through, and I got 1 point of slippage. So this is actually half a point lower than the low of here, and I typically like to enter right at the low or one tick below. So I got a little bit of slippage, and fortunately it worked out. I also saw this as a potential range because I originally had it here, and I saw even when it was here, I had enough room to get out before it hit the bottom. So when it pushed down, I did drag this down a little bit lower here. This is already my third trade. The second trade was iffy. Then pushes up. I saw this as a new low. It's a first entry short on the same candle. You create a second entry short hidden because the first entry short confirmed right here when it broke below these guys, which should be the signal bars. But then it flashes up and it comes back down to this hidden second entry short, excuse me. Now, what I thought about, I didn't want to take this trade because I wasn't too sure because the signal bar is too doji. So when you see this, there's kind of a tug of war. You don't know if it's going to break back up, but you do have this going for you. You do have this purple channel, which is now being confirmed. And when this one opens, flashes up and comes back down, definitely it was a trade here. It's a little more aggressive, and I just wasn't on top of it to see it and take it in real time because I kind of debated it and then missed the trade, but it's okay because I don't think I was mentally ready to take this anyways. Then prices continue moving down. It fits on this purple channel pretty well. So at this point, I'm looking back and I'm seeing like it's a push up and then a correction back down. Maybe it is within this big trading range, but it's a little bit early to, from what I see here, to think about going short to continue this purple trend down. And it's definitely a little too early to think there's going to be a reversal. So it's just kind of something I noticed, and I just wanted to be very careful. So this first entry short, technically you get a second entry short here, but this isn't a very good signal bar. Prices then continue moving up on this orange channel. I think I see some kind of resistance here. It comes back down, and I drew this as a potential trading range. So I saw this as a new high. It's a first entry long pullback. It creates a second entry long that's confirmed here, but this isn't a very good signal bar, and it's already too far pushing into this middle of this range, this blue one that I drew here. So it pulls back, and then this is what I actually did take a trade on, and I like this because it went one tick below, and then it pushed all the way back up. Not only did it push all the way back up, it couldn't break past this double top, but it closed at the very top. So when I saw that, I said, I think there's enough momentum here and bounce off the bottom to push it at least 1 point up to try to get to this side. So that's what I did. I entered at the highs here, and as you can see, I pretty much had my order entered right when it opened, flashed around, it gave me my profit scalp for my higher low, confirming the second entry long, and then it closed doji. So I was pretty relieved that I didn't try to go for more, because if I tried to go for 2 points, my exit would still be up here, and then my safety stop would be below this candle. So I'd still be in this trade wondering if I'm going to get stopped out, because this doji means there's indecision. It could come back down to the low. Fortunately, if you were in that trade and you went for more than what I did, you would have gotten the scalp, but not your scalp, but you would have gotten your profit. But here again, I wasn't too sure, especially after this close. I would have been kind of nervous. And then I saw this as a new low. It's first entry short pullback. This is the signal bar for the second entry short. I actually took a fifth trade, and it's in hindsight, I don't think I should have took it. It should have been skipped, because this is what happened. First entry short, second entry short. It is at the top of the range. It's coming back down. This is the signal bar. It's 2 doji, but you are playing range rules, so you're thinking prices might come back down to the bottom. I also saw this as a potential push up on this yellow channel, so there could be a break. So when it did break, I entered one tick below here. I didn't really worry about the EMA because it's too flat and I'm just playing range rules at this time, but I didn't wait for this to close. So when it closed high, as previously my other trades, I seem to have entered early or took it on the engulfing, which carries risks of its own because you didn't wait for the setup to confirm. And that's what I did here. I entered on a short, and I was, I think, kind of lucky that this big candle flashed down and got my fill. So although it, after the break of this orange channel, I tried one push up, second push up, now it's pushing up on this yellow channel. First break, so here, there's a possibility it could push up and test the highs here. Even though there's a small overshoot, it's kind of this I don't know, not a very firm overshoot. It is confirmed overshoot and came back down, but it could come back up to test the highs. So this was a little bit riskier in my opinion, and I didn't really wait, and I should have just waited because this, especially this signal bar for the second entry short is a little bit neutral. But again, I was lucky when I did get this fifth trade, and I was like 5 for 5 today. I decided I need to calm down because I felt like I was getting a little sloppy, pretty much loosening up the rules, which you should not, because the rules keep you out of danger. And I was just kind of taking trades on engulfing. I was just anticipating trades, and I hadn't been smacked or punished yet because these 5 trades rewarded me. So that made me think, okay, well, you're profitable, and you made 5 trades, 5 winning trades. 2 of them you admit that were kind of iffy. You need to stop and slow down. So what I decided to do is I wasn't going to take any more trades unless a absolutely perfect setup showed up, and no more taking it on the engulfing before the setup has fully confirmed. Because I felt like I kind of got away with being lucky today. So then prices then come down. I counted this as a localized new high, so a first entry long pullback, second entry long, but I also saw this as a breakout of this trading range. And I saw this as a higher low. I thought this is a pretty decent higher low, closed right above the EMA, and it looks like it is definitely pushing back in. It's pretty strong. There might be enough momentum here to get your 1 point scalp, but I didn't take the trade though. So I think this might have been a decent trade. It's also bouncing off the bottom of the range after the breakout. So prices then continue moving. It chops. You have a new high, first entry long, second entry long, technically a third entry long, so it's just a little choppy. I also don't like trading when the candles look like this because there's a pretty big bars, but the bodies are pretty tiny. So it's showing there's some indecision here. Even though it closed slightly bullish, slightly bearish, slightly bullish, it's just very tiny. And all the bias of them are more bullish because they're more at the high end. But it's just something like that makes me weary because the bulls could lose strength and create something like this big red candle pushed all the way down. Because technically you have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short. But would you know to get ready for a second entry short off this, pretty not that good looking candle? It looks like it would have worked. And then if you stay too long, it would have flashed up and taken you out. So on top of that, EMA is sideways, so it just looks, nothing really worth risking there. Prices then continue moving, breaks out of this blue channel. At this point, I'm thinking maybe the range is wider, top of the range, and this is my original range, and I actually drew a second one here, thinking there might be some kind of fail breakout over here, but it doesn't. It just kind of flashes down really strongly. It creates on a bigger time scale, a bigger tick chart. This is a fail breakout here because you have a new low. The first entry short, second entry short. It's the second entry short failure. It's a decent signal bar. It did close inside this range again. And if you just wanted another piece of confirmation, it is closed above the EMA. It does fit in this green channel pretty well. So you could argue that it's potentially bouncing into this range again, bouncing off your green channel and bouncing off the EMA. So potentially three key entry points. But again, this is a failed second entry short. I'd rather see this failure above the EMA or just at least into the range. And seeing this, I just said, well, I want to see a higher low confirmation, especially after this candle closed. I felt like if I tried to enter, it would have been a chase. Unfortunately, here, you don't get a higher low until you get to about right here. This higher low doesn't even qualify anymore because it's too far from your setup. You want your higher low close to the setup you're trying to confirm or your lower high. So definitely it's just this higher low. Definitely it's a higher low, but it doesn't really tell you anything at this point. Prices then come back down on this yellow channel, bounces. It falls into what I think is another consolidation area. I don't like these doji candles. It doesn't really tell me much, so I had to sit and wait. I saw this, and I saw this as a new low, say first entry short, second entry short right here. This is the signal bar, this doji, and it's confirmed second entry short right here. But it also looked like it failed right here. So it's a failed second entry short. I had this as my range, and I saw this as a potential breakout, fail breakout, but here the failure itself failed because it tried to come back in, went out, and here it bounced. So I thought there was a possible trade here, like a failed breakout pullback. And then when this one closed, I think if I was still ready to take a trade, I would have entered with my entry at the highs of here, waiting for the next candle. I wanted to tick one tick above, and then I would have dropped my entry at the same highs as 3-3. So it looks like I would have gotten filled, and then my stop would have been not on this candle, but on this candle. So I would have gotten filled, and then it looks like I would have gotten the trade. But again, because I saw this as enough bullish momentum, especially the strong close to get that 1 point scalp. But again, as I said, I already got my 5 trades in, and 2 of them were iffy. So I just kind of counting my blessings at that point. Prices then continue moving up. Test the high of this original range that I drew. Looks like a failed breakout here. Comes back in, you have first entry long. Technically, I have a second entry long failure. I saw this, but I wanted to touch the EMA. But it's also very late in the day. There's only 10 more minutes of trading left. And I know once 1250 hits, which is right here, prices get a little bit wild and whipsaw because here's the last 10 minutes, and it's usually when a lot of traders are closing out their positions they had earlier, or they're writing up something. So kind of chopped into the close. So that's how I saw the charts today. 5 trades, 5 profitable ones. But in actuality, I think if I were more, I guess, on top of my game, trading a little bit better, it would have just been 3 trades and with 3 wins because there are 2 trades I thought were just a little more iffy than I should have taken. So hopefully that was helpful.